Thank you. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I'd acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Innu, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. Sorry. I'm Linda McFadden, the chair of this hearing. And my panel members are Gail Anderson on Zoom and Bill Moreski on Zoom. We'll be hearing applications for revision of the assessment role in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the municipal board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal for your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony followed by questions that the applicant may have. Then the applicant's testimony followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You'll receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. Our assessor today is Mr. Roddy Padania, and our secretary is Ms. Nicole Carnegie. We'll be hearing items 1 through 2 on our docket today. Ms. Carnegie, will you please affirm the assessors and the applicant's testimony?
Yes, Mr. Assessor, please state your full name.
Roddy Pontania.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Applicant, please state your first or your full name.
Trevor Smith.
You affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll begin with the first item on our docket, and that's 830 Century. Are there any preliminary matters we need to deal with?
I believe there is actually. There is the question on, I guess there's a little bit of some confusion. So from my understanding, originally when this appeal was put forth, it was actually put forth as vacant commercial land that was under appeal. You'll notice on the docket that for 2022, we do have the proper parcel use code of the commercial retail warehouse space that we're speaking about for 2022.
Correct.
But for 2023, we still have it listed as a VCOM or a vacant commercial land. And I was actually waiting to take direction from you guys on how you wanted to proceed with this.
So
may I comment as well, Madam Chair?
Certainly.
So there were 2022 is a supplemental, obviously, but there was a supplemental put out for 2023 as well, and that is what's under appeal today. The original vacant commercial land assessment that was put out. The building was built in 2022 and was up and standing for 2020 for the time frame of the initial assessment to be put out, but the city did not get it on the roll in time, so they issued supplementals after that. And that is what we have under appeal here today, not the vacant commercial land.
However, Mr. Smith and Mr. Pontonia, the board has no record of any application for the supplemental for 2023. The only application, the only number that we have on file at the board is 2,272,000, which I believe is the vacant land. That is the only number that we can talk about today. We cannot talk about the appeal because nothing has been filed.
That's my understanding as well.
I'm sorry, Roddy, what was that?
That was my understanding as well, that I was being briefed before the board started, was the issue that the chairman just spoke of.
I went over this in great detail with the Board of Revision to ensure that there weren't going to be any issues with regard to the supplemental being in appeal, as obviously the value of the vacant commercial land is irrelevant at this point. We did file appeals for both the 2023 and 2022 supplementals. So I'm looking for them right here on my file system, and I have them sitting in front of me. If the board needs to, panel members needs to see them, I can certainly forward them to you, but I would certainly ask that we consult with Ms. Hutter if there's any issues that arise with regard to the value being an appeal, because obviously the supplemental supplants the initial one, and we did file the appeal on the supplemental.
Unfortunately, Mr. Smith, we do not have the appeal on file here at the board. I have consulted with Ms. Hutter on this already, and we do not have that on file. So the only number that we have right now is the original, the base number on the vacant land. So I'm not able to deal with this tonight at all.
So I would then ask that the appeal was made. There's no question about it. I would ask that we defer the 2023 appeal hearing to a later date in order to resolve this matter and allow us the time to present the materials that were filed. Otherwise, we're essentially, as both my information as well as the city's information are with regard to the 2023 supplemental, and if we don't hear those, then all we're doing is confirming the initial vacant commercial land value, which will be supplanted by the 2023, which we would then be forced, the property owner would then be forced to pay based on the initial assessment amount, I'm assuming. So there's a significant issue here, and I don't believe that it would be equitable to proceed on 2023. This is the first time it's been brought to my attention. I haven't heard from the assessment department with regard to this particular matter. When I look at the communications that we have, we both duly submitted our submissions on the 2023 supplemental assessment for the property. I don't believe it would be equitable to proceed based on some initial appeal of the original vacant land assessment. I specifically, and trust me on this, as this has arisen numerous times on other properties, I specifically asked all of the questions that one needs to ask of the Board of Revision with regard to how do we proceed with this when we know that a supplemental is coming. I spoke with Ms. Hutter back in the summertime when this was originally going to be scheduled prior to any supplementals being issued and said, hey, we have a supplemental that will be coming out. Would it not make more sense for this to be dealt with following the supplemental being issued? It was agreed, and the supplementals came out. We duly appealed both of them, and now here we sit with a problem. So I can't see us proceeding on this basis, and I would ask for a deferral of the 2023 at a minimum.
All right, I'm going to recess for a couple of minutes just to discuss with the panel, if that's okay with you.
It is. I can certainly forward you the application that was sent in as well if you would need to see that.
I will let you know.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, I think we're all here. I'll call this hearing back to order. Mr. Smith, I wonder, can you hear me? You're muted, sorry.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'd ask that you please forward the information that you have so that the board can investigate that further. And what I think we will do tonight is that we will adjourn this hearing for both items so that they can all be heard together.
Okay.
All right.
That's certainly fair.
Okay. So the hearing is now adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Everyone.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Trevor. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good.
Bye.